Hello everyone. Hi sir. I hope I am clear and audible. Let me give a quick introduction to the session. Good afternoon everyone. Thanks for joining us. A very warm welcome to today's webinar on programming to reduce risk of snake bite, how to roll out snake bite risk reduction program, opportunities and challenges. Snake bite is one of the most overlooked yet devastating public health emergencies in India. It is claiming over 58,000 lives every year, which is approximately 150 lives each day. The risk rise during disasters like flood and monsoon when health systems are already overloaded. This makes today's conversation extremely critical, and we are collaborating with UNICEF India today to bring together diverse voices from disaster risk reduction experts, wildlife and ecological specialists, to health professionals to build a holistic approach to snake bite preparedness and response. We are privileged to have an esteemed panel of speakers. With your permission, Sarabjit sir, I would like to give a quick introduction of all the speakers and you can. Yes. So let me introduce the first speaker of us, Mr. Peeyush Sekhsaria. Peeyush sir is a Delhi-based independent development professional who works in the domains of natural disasters and natural resource management. Sir has done his master's in Earth and Architecture from Crater, France, and MPhil in Geography from the Sorbonne, Paris. Between 2001 and 2006, Sir has worked in West Africa, Middle East, and Central Asia as an international consultant. And currently based in Delhi, he consults in the fields of environment, disaster management, and development. In addition to this consultancy work, Peeyush sir is an accomplished photographer as well. He has held exhibitions at the Piramal Gallery, NCPA Mumbai, along with several solo and international group exhibitions. His recent projects include photography and research for Greenpeace's publication on Safeguard or Squander, Deciding the Future of India's Fisheries, and he has completed the photography for the forthcoming book, Kailas at Ellora, A New View of a Misunderstood Masterpiece by Roger Vogler. And welcome, sir. And the next speaker, Mr. Jose Louies. Jose is the CEO of Wildlife Trust of India, leading initiatives in wildlife trade control, litigation, and communication. A computer science graduate with a lifelong passion for wildlife, he has developed Hawk, a real-time wildlife crime management system, and has trained forest staff in India and Bhutan. Sir is an experienced field conservationist, public speaker, and wildlife advocate, combining adventure, technology, and outreach to protect India's wildlife. Next, we go to Dr. Manjeet Kaur Bal. Dr. Manjeet is a community development and environmental conservation specialist from Chhattisgarh. With a BSc and MBA, she has worked extensively in rural development, women's rights advocacy, and wildlife conservation, including snake rescue and birding initiatives. Recognized for her courage, resilience, and impact, she continues to inspire through her hands-on work on social empowerment and environmental protection. Currently, ma'am is serving as Senior Program Manager of Foundation for Ecological Security Organization. Next, we go to Dr. Harshjeet Singh Bal. Harshjeet sir is a professor and consultant in pediatric surgery in CMC Vellore with expertise in surgery, urology, and pediatrics. He holds an MCH in pediatric surgery from CMC Vellore, Master in surgery from TN Medical College, Mumbai, and an MBBS from Goa Medical College. Currently, he is working on study leave, pursuing a clinical fellowship at Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital, UK. Passionate about nature and human coexistence with other species, Dr. Bal specializes in snake research and conservation, having volunteered as snake rescue, attended herpetology courses with PNHs, and collaborated with experts in the field. Motivated by the scale of human-snake interaction and snakebite fatalities, he actively works to raise awareness and mitigate the impact of snake bites through community engagement and scientific outreach. And last but not least, guiding us through today's discussion is our moderator, Mr. Sarabjit Singh Sahota. Sarabjit sir is an architect by background and an urban planner with over 25 years of professional experience in humanitarian development programming. He currently serves as disaster risk reduction specialist, UNICEF, focusing on community resilience, disaster preparedness, and risk-informed urban planning. Throughout his career, Sir has worked with frontline humanitarian agencies, integrating expertise in WASH, public health, social sciences, and human settlements to link humanitarian development interventions for sustainable impact. He brings practical skills in policy advocacy, organizational development, risk awareness, planning, resources, mobilization, and monitoring and evaluation, An alumnus of the US State Department's International Visitor Leadership Program 2005 batch, Mr. Sarabjit has been recognized for significant contributions to humanitarian response, urban resilience, and disaster risk reduction initiatives. Welcome everyone to the session. Over to you, Sarabjit sir, for moderating the session. Sir, you're on mute.
Right from the start. Wow. Thanks, Sanchita. So I'll be very brief in introducing the subject. In fact, doesn't need an introduction. Avoidable deaths, preventable deaths has been part of our sort of importance vision that we should really work on it and be impactful on. Snakebite, everyone speaks about this data, there's evidence that yes, there are 58,000 deaths every year. Behind it, there will be many more hundreds and thousands of people who are bitten, but they survive somehow and then they are disabled or whatever. So, but how do you do programming to reduce the risk? And I think I had put this question to my friend Peeyush, and I was excited that yes, there are, at least we have awareness about two levels of programming, and it's not theory, it's being done. So today called upon Piyush and Jose particularly to share their experiences on implementing programs. And then we have uh, experts Manjeet and Harshjeet to respond to it. So I'll suggest that we start with maybe Piyush, and then we hand it over to Jose, and then Harjeet and Manjeet could sort of respond to the larger discussion and add to it, basically. Yep. So over to you, Piyush.
Thanks, Sarjeet. Also, one small logistical announcement. I think if Sanchita could send the link to Joe's, I've just received a message from him, and I think there's some confusion. So he's ready, but it seems like he can't locate the link. So
Okay.
just
Yes, sir,
convey
we'll look into it. I'll send
and
it.
confirm that it started so that he's able to join.
It's better to send a meeting ID because sometimes that link is not working. So it's better to send a meeting ID in the Zoom. It's easier with the meeting ID number here.
So, Piyush, how much time do you need?
I'm ready to start.
So how much time do you need in terms of your intervention?
So I will limit myself to 15 minutes as was allocated. If you want, I can also do a quicker job.
No, please continue. Please start.
So
Yeah.
I'll need a sharing permission.
Sanchita?
So in the time that comes through,
It's
my
allowing me
journey,
to share. It's allowing me to share.
I think I can share.
Yeah, please.
So you must be able to share now.
That's right, I can. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. If you could put it on presentation mode.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Okay. Can you see it in full screen?
Not, yes, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, great. So my journey actually started many years back. I was working with a small team and we were developing a game using the snakes and ladders concept on hygiene in Karnataka. And being a nature lover and a keen birder and a keen wildlifer, I was troubled by the fact that we are always, putting snakes in this very negative aspect. So even in a game that we play, the obvious thing to go down the game is snakes. However, it was only during COVID that I came down to the idea of actually developing this idea further. And then again, working with friends, we started looking at snakes and ladders as a way of looking at snake awareness and snake bite awareness. So snakes and ladders is a very old game. Its origins are in India, and they were often used for very strategic play in king's courts. And the image on the left, which I found on the internet, is an indicative image of how beautiful or how particular these games were. And with time, it became the snakes and ladders version that we see on boards. And developmental agencies also started using this game, to do positive, negative messaging, as you can see on the image on the right. And we were troubled by this fact, so we decided that we will use this format because it's a very familiar format, and create a game such that we're probably doing more justice to snakes. And at the end of that journey, we came up with a game that looks a bit like this. The one on the left is the Marathi version, the one on the right is the Hindi version, and we did it in English too. The idea was, of course, that the regional language versions were important to be able to reach out to a wider audience. The game is relatively straightforward, but I'll run it through quickly. So as you can make out, there are photographs of snakes, actual snakes that have been used. And you will see that there is also a set of images on the top and the bottom, which give us the snake skin patterns. And the idea is to help people identify better and see that some snakes actually resemble others, some which are non-venomous resemble the venomous ones. And that also causes confusion and death of snakes often, but also panic amongst humans. And each snake has three sets of information. One is whether it's venomous, non-venomous, or mildly venomous, which is also done by the minus plus the orange color for venomous ones. There is the name in the local language and in English. Some of you may not be able to read this, but it basically says Russell's Viper. It's Ghonas in Marathi. And then a message that goes with it, which says that be careful, it whistles like a pressure cooker, and it's indicating to you that it's a warning, and similarly, for a non-venomous snake, this is the common wolf snake, often mistaken for the common krait, which is highly venomous, because of the white bands on the body of the snake. And then there are other things, information. So here you get bitten by a snake and you go to the hospital. So you get a +7 and you reach the hospital. So it's trying to reinforce positive actions. And importantly, it's not just about snakes, but it's also about snake behavior, and importantly about human behaviors, misconceptions, wrong beliefs. So the idea here is that we've tried to, without loading it too much, try to bring in these aspects of snake awareness and snake bite in the game. And there's also one illustrated sort of reinforcement which talks about what is to do and what is not to do. Now, the reason why I gave you this background is because what work I'm doing now has a background in this. This is the game being played amongst rural children outside Kanha by a group called Earth Focus. Similarly, we were playing the game with children in outside, and almost exactly 2 years back, July 17th, 2023, World Snake Day, we were conducting the game with the children in Mangarbani. It's a forest area outside Delhi in the Louies in Faridabad. And it was fun. The children enjoyed the game as always. And we felt satisfied that on World Snake Day, we've played the game. Almost the same or the night after that, there was a case of snake bite where one of the children who's a member of the Eco Club got bitten by a snake in the middle of the night. A poor family, the child was sleeping outside on a dari, got bitten by a snake. Parents were not sure what had happened. They initially started by paracetamol and ultimately ended up at a private hospital. The private hospital took time, referred them further to the district hospital. And it's an unfortunate and sad story, but we lost the child. And we only came to know this the next day. And it so happened that when they finally reached Safdarjung Hospital in the early morning, a lab technician looked at the boy and said, this is 100% a snakebite case, but it was already too late. And that really shocked the wits out of us because we felt that we are being so naive. This problem is so severe, and we're trying to play this game to create awareness. Nothing wrong in it, but clearly far away from where we need to be. And that actually led us to think, so one message in a very difficult kind of scenario where somebody in the village, an innocent life, a young innocent life is lost. It's difficult to engage with the subject, but basically we started spreading this information through our networks that whatever may happen, whichever snake may bite you, wherever, whenever, go straight to Safdarjung and the district hospital in Faridabad. It so happened that the same monsoon, almost like a week after that, a woman in her early 60s got bitten by a cobra. And we know that it's a cobra because they killed the snake. It was about 9 in the night. And fortunately, she insisted, a very brave woman, she insisted with the family that she will only go to the district hospital in in Faridabad. And there's, of course, a whole story, but they were able to get her to the district hospital fairly quickly. The doctors examined her, did the necessary due diligence, gave her 5 vials of antivenom, and then through ambulance sent them to Safdarjung, where she was admitted for a few days and the treatment continued. And she's absolutely fine today. And it so happened that almost, and not surprisingly, because it's the monsoon, and you will, if you look at the data, you will see that in the monsoon, the snake bite cases go up significantly. There was another snake bite case. And in this case, this was a young woman. She was using the bathroom. She came out feeling that she had some bite. She was not sure whether it was snake bite or not, but she was awkward because it was a bite on the thigh. And she fortunately met a senior teacher in the local school, and that teacher insisted that instead of thinking about whether it was a snake bite or not, etc., she goes straight to the hospital. She went to the district hospital in Faridabad. They kept her under observation for some time, and finally suggested that she could go back home. It was not a venomous snake bite for sure, and in case there was any problem, she could come back or call. And it so happened that things went fine. She's absolutely fine. So it was a bit like, while we were very disturbed and disappointed by the fact that we had lost a child, while being active in that village on the issue of snake and snake bite, by sending in the right information, we were able to ensure that at least some people took the right steps. However, this messaging or this work was really one-off, and we decided that we need to work on this in a more systematic way. And we approached Wildlife Trust of India. Jose will also speak about the work that they're doing. And we got a small grant. It's a grant that is called Rapid Action Projects, as part of which we are currently undertaking a program across 6 villages in the Aravali, in Faridabad, on snake awareness and snake bite awareness. And there are 2-3 things that I would like to share, which I think have been really effective and very important, far more than what we thought. So one is that the way this works is that there is a foundation called Laksh Foundation, which runs after-school programs in 11 centers in these 6 villages. So through these after-school programs itself, they reach out to about anything between 1,000 to 1,500 children. And importantly, about 40 young people from these villages who act as teachers. So our program actually focuses on building capacity of these teachers who are from these villages. So one of the first activities we did, it's all fine for somebody like me or you to go out into this village and say, okay, these are the do's, these are the don'ts. You should not be tying a tourniquet. You should not be making a cut. You should not go to a Baba or a faith healer and go to the hospital, etc., etc. But we actually got some snakebite survivors from these villages to come and talk to these teachers, one of who was a snakebite survivor herself. But it's a slightly taboo subject, and they probably had never really spoken about it in detail to their own teachers. And when they spoke and they narrated their whole experience, it was fabulous to see the kind of engagement that was there amongst the teachers in terms of, the sense that, okay, if there's a snake bite, there are people in our village who've gone to the hospital, who were treated properly, and today are absolutely fine. So we did that. That was one thing. The second thing we've done is that we've actually created small groups of these teachers, typically based on the village they come from. And they organize themselves and do a day visit to both BK Civil Hospital in Faridabad and Safdarjung, to the emergency wards, and try and negotiate their way through these wards to talk to doctors, nurses. And most of these people have never visited hospitals. They've fortunately never been a need. And even more so an emergency ward. So there is fear, there is doubt, there is a kind of anxiety. But we've seen that after this visit, they have become very confident and very clear that what may, we should go to the hospital. They know what is to be done. There are helpful people there. The doctor spoke to us well. They appreciated that we are making this effort. So this has been very empowering in terms of, and a relatively simple action. It's not very difficult for you to identify, but it's very important to identify which is the hospital where there is antivenom available and the doctors are confidently treating snakebite cases and not referring them further. One of the challenges here, and this is a systemic issue, is that from what I understand is BK Civil Hospital, despite being a district hospital, doesn't have
Piyush,
an ICU facility. Yeah.
I've heard that we still at the same slide where children are playing game.
Okay. Fine. So, sorry. Just want to show you some of the engagement. It's still, the slides are still built around the games only. So, the games are in different formats. You saw a smaller format. We also have a larger format, which can also be put onto the wall. Here, this is a case where this is a program that was being run in Bhimashankar Wildlife Sanctuary outside Pune, where unfortunately there was a woman from one of these villages that passed away of snakebite, and local organizations wanted to work towards a zero snakebite death scenario. And we've given these games there. The reason why this photograph is important is that there are certain groups, and we know this, people working in the DRR space or in the developmental space, whether it's children, whether it's the girl child, whether it's women. These are groups that we really need to work with because they have the most, often they are the most at risk of facing snakebite, and they are the most disempowered in terms of sharing this and even asking that I want to be taken to the hospital. So it is very important. And this game, in a way, just forms a via media to talk about snakebite, snakes, people's belief systems, and gently nudge them towards what is the correct action rather than, insisting that they behave in a certain way. It's more like a gentle nudge. And it's also a lot of knowledge sharing because people also have a lot of information or myths, which are important to understand in the local context. So while we are working in, this is an image from one of the schools that was set up by the Narmada Bachao Andolan in the villages that have been cut off by the backwaters of the Narmada Dam with no rehabilitation. So these villages are completely cut off. And here, if there is a snake bite, there's no way to go to a hospital, or rather you can, but it'll take you so long that there's virtually no chance of you surviving if it's a venomous snake bite. And coupled with this, we try also identify if there are people within that community who are by nature more adept at handling snakes. So even here in the schools of the Narmada Bachao Andolan, they're called Jeevan Shalas. There was one particular teacher who seemed to be naturally inclined towards handling snakes. So we organized a snake rescue kit. A snake rescue kit basically comprises of hooks and bags in which you bag the snake, and there's some techniques there. So people who naturally are inclined towards handling snakes can be trained by officially recognized trainers. And we know of one case at least where we got a video where the teacher actually bagged the snake, which was inside these temporary classrooms that they make. We also have this in a very large format now, which is like a double bed sheet. And this is a group working with children in One Vihar in Bhopal. And now you're seeing a scale where the snake is more or less the actual size when it's on a double bed sheet, when it's printed on a double bed sheet. And it allows children or even adults to engage in a way which is very one-to-one. And to that extent, this format we found to be extremely useful to work with larger groups. Even the people who are not actively playing are engaging because they're observing the players, they're reading. Of course, the game in itself doesn't solve everything. It's just a via media. Yeah, I think I don't have more slides. Can you tell me how much time I have?
We're close to the
Right.
minute mark.
So I'll conclude.
सर ये हिंदी में नहीं हो सकता है क्या? दोहरा नहीं सकते क्या?
थोड़ा हिंदी में वापस बताने में मुश्किल होगी मैम, क्योंकि समय थोड़ा कम है। मगर अगर मुझे 2 लाइन में बताना है तो मैं ये कहूंगा कि हमारा जो एक्सपीरियंस रहा है वो खास करके गांव क्षेत्र में आज भी बहुत ज्यादा सर्पदंश होता है, और उससे
जी।
बहुत लोगों की मृत्यु भी होती है। और ऐसे जगह पे हमको एक तो ये पहचानना जरूरी है कि सबसे पास वाला कौन सा अस्पताल है जहाँ पे इसका ट्रीटमेंट होता हो भरोसे के साथ। दूसरा कि गांव में से लोग अगर ये ट्रीटमेंट लेते हैं तो ऐसे लोगों को मतलब आइडेंटिफाई करके उनको गांव वालों से बात करानी, और गांव वालों की विजिट उन हॉस्पिटल्स में करानी, ताकि वो डायरेक्टली वहाँ पे जो फैसिलिटीज हैं, वहाँ के डॉक्टर्स हैं, वहाँ के नर्सेज हैं, उनके साथ बात कर सकें। गांव में अगर कोई ऐसे लड़का लड़की कोई हो जो सांप पकड़ता हो, क्योंकि कई बार ये मिलते हैं, तो उनको ठीक से ट्रेनिंग देनी, उनके पास ठीक से एक टूल सेट देना, ये जानकारी देनी कि भाई कौन से सीजन में ज्यादा सांप काटते हैं और उसके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं। तो जैसे जो क्रेट है वो रात के समय बारिश के मौसम में बहुत ज्यादा घर के अंदर घुसता है, बिस्तर में घुसता है, तो उसमें जो उपाय सबसे मतलब सस्ता बोल सकते हैं या डिपेंडेबल बोल सकते हैं, वो ये है कि आप मच्छरदानी के नीचे सोएं, ताकि सांप आपके बिस्तर के आसपास तो आ जाए मगर वो आपके पास तक नहीं पहुंच सके। और हमने एक और चीज पे काम किया है, इसमें हमने एक रोल प्ले गेम बनाया है। रोल प्ले में अलग अलग जो गांव में लोग होते हैं उनके चित्र हैं, और कुछ ऐसे सिनेरियोज हैं कि भाई आप दोनों बच्चे नदी पे गए, खेल रहे थे, और वहां पे एक बच्चे को सांप ने काटा, आपके पास फोन नहीं है, आप क्या करोगे। तो ऐसी जो गांव में स्थिति होती है, जब रात के 2 बजे रात को एक महिला को बाथरूम में सांप ने काटा, तो ऐसे सिनेरियो बना के लोगों को ये पूछना कि आप क्या करोगे। तो ऐसे हमने ये गेम हम खेलते हैं, तो उसमें भी बहुत सारी चीजें निकल के आती हैं, और उसमें भी एक समझ बनती है लोगों की, और जो बाहर मतलब हमारे जैसे जो लोग हैं जो गांव में काम कर रहे हैं, उनकी भी समझ बनती है कि कौन है जो मदद करेगा, या कौन है जो एक आप कह सकते हैं गांव में एक प्रोग्रेसिव लीडर है जो लोगों को एक तरफ भेजता है, कुछ लोग पीछे की तरफ जाते हैं। तो ये एक समझ इस विषय से लेकर उस गेम के द्वारा भी मिलती है। तो वैसे बात करने के लिए बहुत है, बट आज बहुत इस क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले बहुत अच्छे लोग बात करने वाले हैं, और ये बहुत ही छोटा स्केल का हम काम कर रहे हैं, मगर हमारी कोशिश ये है कि इसमें हम इसमें बहुत डीपली एंगेज करें। और हम ये चाहते हैं कि इन 6 गांवों में इस साल भी अनफॉर्चुनेटली एक बच्चे की जान स्नेक बाइट से गई है, मगर हम ये चाहते हैं कि स्नेक बाइट से और बच्चों की या बड़ों की जान नहीं जाए इन गांवों में। और ये जो काम है, ये एक ऐसा एग्जाम्पल बने कि हम और जगहों पे भी इसको इम्प्लीमेंट कर सके। तो आई विल स्टॉप विद दिस। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर द अपॉर्चुनिटी।
Thank you, Piyush. I think this was super useful. You touched upon the basics, no? What is fundamental to programming around reducing the risk of snake bite and also avoiding deaths. Now let's go over to Jose. So Jose, over to you. I trust you will give us a little more wider sort of idea about snake bite risk reduction programming.
Yeah, I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay, let me just check my presentation also. I hope that is visible.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. And in fact, I got delayed by 5-6 minutes, and Peeyush sent me a message also. It was wrongly marked in my calendar. So yeah, it is. Peeyush actually set the context very well, and I don't think I have to talk a lot about what is the context or what is the challenges of snake bite. I've been working on snakes and snake-related issues or snake bite-related issues for a very time, and so we worked on certain interventions, like how can we use the technology for countering snake bite or snake related emergency. So that is a whole context. So about 50,000 people die a year due to snake bite across the country. And there are no efficient mechanisms when there is a snake emergency to address it. So that is when we started the whole idea of developing a mobile application. So I'll get into the details, and maybe we can have a discussion also. I'm keeping the language in English, but I may not be very comfortable switching between English and Hindi, even though I can speak reasonably good Hindi. But if there are questions, we can explain it. So, snake bite is an issue which is often contested whether it is a health issue or a wildlife issue, because snakes are wild animals technically. So snake bites a person, we consider it as a human wildlife conflict. I largely work on the wildlife part of it. And but when this snake bite happens, it is also a health issue, because the person who is suffering from the snake bite, it is not just an injury, but it can actually take your life. Now, that fundamental thing will bring another player in the picture, that whether it's a problem of the health department or the forest department. So there is discussion between both departments. Compensations are given by forest department, and health department is supposed to take care of the victim and all. Also, across the country, this is still contested whether it is a state subject or a central government subject, because state health is looked after by state, but policies has to be developed by central government. Then there are questions about anti-venom efficiency or researchers or provision of anti-venom supply across the country and all. So, and also education and outreach. That even though we are the biggest manufacturer and exporter of venom across the world, we do have the largest number of snake bite deaths every year. I was not casually telling that 50,000 number. 50,000 number is the minimum number which we think that is the number of people we lose every year to snake bites. And why this is happening? Because it is largely because of lack of awareness. Like Peeyush already told that, how one simple step of awareness in a village changed the life for another person, because the person insisted that he will or she will go to hospital. And how to prevent the snake bites, and we have to tell people, instead of getting bitten and then going for the right treatment, how can you prevent snake bites? So all these things are being discussed in the field of human snake conflict or snake bite management across the country. And that is when we started with I will take a couple of steps back, and will tell about how we started the whole thing. So in 2010, I came up with a website with a couple of my friends that, we need a website on snakes of India. So we started the indiansnakes.org website. The idea was to have a website which will talk about snakes largely, because my interest was snake rescue. So it was like a digital library or online library on snakes. And at that point of time, we were not interested in snake bites. And then we started with in 2017 or 2016, 17. 1 second, sorry. Yeah, in 2007, we started with the mobile application, because that is when the mobile application kind of an era started. And that is when we started also with the two-way interaction. Website is not always a two-way interaction. Website is like, somebody can take your email ID and send you a mail and all. But when you started a mobile application, we started interacting with people. And that interaction actually turned into a larger networking across the country. I started interacting with people across the country and started understanding that, even if you rescue snakes or you tell people that how to rescue snakes safely, but you have a snake bite as a major problem and snake bite as a major concern. So that is when we started working on, the SERPA or serpent model of working with snake related issues. So it has a mobile application, it has got website interface, and also there is a lot of set of people behind it. So let me, before getting further into it, it is not the mobile application or the technology that save the person or save the patient or solve the situation or provide the emergency service when you have a snake in the house. It is actually the machinery behind the mobile application that's what will take care of the work, because that is very important. Because many people ask that, oh Jose, you have a mobile application that can solve snake bite. No, it cannot. You need people, you need a hospital to treat snake bites, you need a rescuer to go for a a snake rescue, you need an education expert to go and work with community. Technology can provide you the service. Technology can provide you the tools. Technology can provide you the platform to ensure that all this thing is coordinated, in a smooth manner. In India, currently we have Serpent as a national level program, and then we have a very customized regional Serpa program in Kerala, and we also have a version of Serpent which is already running in Brazil, because they looked at the success of Kerala program and they started in Brazil, and also a couple of more states like Rajasthan, Odisha, and Tamil Nadu. These states are also coming forward for this kind of an approach. So let me take you to the technology part of it. So thing is that we have a cloud-based mobile application or a web application which is codenamed as Serpent, which has got all databases, which has got a lot of capabilities of managing various types of data. It can be people asking for rescue, or people trying to find out about the nearest hospital for snakebite treatment, etc. That is managed by a technical team, and also we have an analyst who is looking at what kind of data which is coming in. In this process, we collect a lot of data about snakes and their presence, and snake rescue frequencies, etc., which are a lot of valuable information to design response strategies in certain areas. It can be used by general public, and it can be used by rescuers and district administrator hospitals. Like the mobile application is used by various sets of people. So I'll get I got a little technical into the presentation from the next couple of slides. So the mobile application can be used by general people, general public. That can be anybody who can download the mobile application, and they can use it for know more about snakes, if you have a snake emergency in your house, to find the nearest rescuer and all. Then the same application, when you log in as a rescuer, you will have to get a different interface. The rescuer interface will be, I can tell you, the rescuer interface will be the simple interface that he will know if there is a snake emergency rescue or a snake emergency call in 5 kilometers or 2 kilometers around in his radius. And we are working on the medical professional module. This is specifically a module for doctors, where doctors can access that and they can learn more about snakebite treatments. We are actually developing a few videos where doctors are giving us, doctors are doing a podcast kind of a thing, talking about how you treat a Russell's viper bite or a crate bite. So that is going to be a very valuable information information repository or a library for doctors to learn more about snake bites, because across the country, one major challenge which we found is that many doctors don't know, in the rural India especially, or fresh doctors don't know how to treat snake bites. So doctors, they will give their advices, their case studies and experiences as short videos. And also you can download materials on snakebite treatment protocols, SOPs, etc. And also we have a login for education experts, people who can actually access things like your training material, various posters, presentations, videos, etc., if they are conducting a workshop in a rural area. Why this kind of an approach is there? That, for example, an education expert, a general user also can access this material if he applies to become an education expert, because if I want to conduct a workshop in a school, a remote school in Jharkhand, then I have to send someone there. But if I have a rescuer there, then we will handhold him, will train him, and we will ensure that he will get the correct education material or the correct set of material in his mobile phone, which he can download and use it on a PowerPoint presentation, use it as a PowerPoint presentation in the school, or he can download a poster and print it locally. So we are a number of such materials available in the mobile application. Everything is managed through a dashboard in the backend, where you have the government agency, because when you deal with snakes and snake bites, there is health department involved, there is forest department involved, so they can see various data about the snake bite cases or the number of snakes rescued, etc. Healthcare people can be included in this, where they can enter the data on snake bites, like if they get a snake bite related information, they can add that. And also various kind of analysts will ensure that the data is analyzed in real time. So now let's come to the mobile application. The mobile application, if you look at the mobile application, it can be used in many ways. It can be a field guide on snakes. So it has a built-in field guide, which is real time. Whenever a new species of snake is discovered, we actually add that data. You can find your common snakes. You can use the mobile application and ask various queries. Like, if I'm in Delhi, I can ask what are the venomous snakes found in Delhi, what are the mildly venomous snakes found in Delhi, or non-venomous snakes found in Delhi. All sorts of questions can be asked. So that is like a ready-made field guide. And you also can use it to find the nearest hospital. So in case of an emergency and you need to find which hospital in the nearby area has got a snake bite treatment, so we listed both government and private hospitals. It's a very simple Google navigation interface. You click the hospital, you get the phone number and the details of the hospital. And if you want to call up the hospital and tell them that you're bringing a patient, that is fine. Otherwise, you can just go to the hospital using whatever available transportation. If you have a snake in the house, then it can be for snake rescue also. So if you see a snake in the house, you can take a photograph and you can just upload into the system. It is very simple process. You don't even, for these emergency supports, you don't even need to register in the mobile application. We optimized it to see, for example, if it is a reasonably good speed internet connection, the app download and the emergency response, everything will happen within 2 to 3 minutes. So you can find the nearest hospital or you can find the nearest rescuer. You just take a photograph and send it to the rescuers. I mean, you don't even need to know who the rescuer is. You just upload into the nearest rescuer will get the update and he will know your location. So they can come to your location to rescue the snake, remove the snake. As I told you, there are a number of built-in education material. You can use, can access PPTs, PDFs, JPEGs, or even movie files through the mobile application to learn more about snakes and snake bites. And in some cases, like you don't have an emergency, but you found a snake outside your house, which is like one of the most common thing people do. You found a snake in your house or nearby, you can take a photograph and send it to us. We will identify it. No AI, because we still believe that, sometimes snakes has to be identified by a human being, because AI, even now, AI can make mistakes. We've tried AI, but in some field conditions, you may not be able to identify the snake very correctly. So it can be also a doctor or even a patient or a bystander who will send us photographs of a snake which they killed or they captured, which was involved in a suspected snake bite case. So, you can send us a photograph for identification. We tell people that, okay, whether it is a venomous snake or a non-venomous snake, etc. And also the last we are actually planning and we are incorporating it. We are putting a lot of, the mobile application will be a gateway to a lot of secondary information about snakes, snake bites, protocols. This is largely for the doctors and education experts, that they have a centralized repository on these kind of things in the mobile application. Now, that's all good. That's how you design a mobile application. That's how you plan everything. But also, our experience is that when we implemented SERPA, now I will be largely talking about the SERPA model, which we implemented the state of Kerala, because of various reasons. Because one, the snakebite density was very high there. We were losing about 150 people every year to snake bites in Kerala. And that is when the state forest department approached and we started working together, and we started with the mobile application, a customized version. And you can see the zoomed out map, which I'm showing is the Kochi city. You can see how many places people downloaded the mobile application. So you have to make sure that, people reaches, I mean, you will reach the mobile application to people, download the mobile application and they use it. So in today's world, such kind of technology is accepted by people. So we don't have to worry about it. If you give a good technology, if you make it very practical, if you make it useful, if you make it simple, then you will find acceptability across the country. This is a dashboard. I'm not getting into it. Dashboard is used for managing the system. Also, the dashboard is telling us that what kind of snakes are found. So these little dots which you are seeing is that the instance of snakes rescued from human habitation areas. When you zoom in, you will see the density of incidents. Each of this will give us information about what snake, what was the condition, who rescued it, what was the situation, and what species was there, all those information. So we are also in this process, we are getting a lot of scientific information about distribution of snakes in a particular geographic region. Yesterday, I was sitting in a meeting where we are looking at certain, ecological parameters and, information about snakes and their habitat usage. And unfortunately, there is no such data available. And when I shared my data with them, saying that, this is the data, this is a GPS location This is verified, and this is last 5 years data. I mean, people are wondering how you can have such accurate data. That is because last 5 years we are collecting data in all these rescues, and this is also giving us how it is progressing. We started in 2021. We had about 6,000 rescues, and then 10,000 and 13,000 and 17,000. If this is few days back data or a few weeks back data, we already reached 13,000. I'm absolutely sure that we will be crossing 17,000. We'll be reaching about 20,000 snake rescue data. About 60,000 snakes were removed from human dominated areas in last 5 years. That is giving us a lot of valuable inputs into the presence of snakes. So the system is capable of giving us this graphs and all, a bit of basic scientific analysis. Now, without any doubt, with scientific data, I can tell anybody that spectacled cobra is the most common snake in human dominated areas across Kerala. You look at the numbers, 5,335. That's a venomous snake which entered into conflict with the people in human dominated areas where the snake had to be removed. The interesting thing now emerging in Kerala in 2025 is that after cobra, it is python. It's very interesting. The way which we are looking at the data on python in Kerala is interesting. We are finding a large number of Indian rock python in cities like Kochi, Kottayam, or Kozhikode, which are urban cities, which are heavily populated cities. But we are finding this large snake surviving among people within the cities, and sometimes we are getting large snakes like 10 feet snakes, 11 feet snakes are becoming common. Why that is happening? It was not a phenomenon. It was not a thing in the past, but there are some factors which are actually helping in the increase of that kind of a snake population in urban cities. You're finding rat snakes, you're finding Russell's viper, then there are unknown snakes, some species which maybe the rescuer could not identify. You don't see you don't see crate or saw-scale viper as the common most snakes in Kerala. So in this kind of data gathering, in this kind of scientific scientific management of data, you're also understanding what kind of species, what is the seasonal changes, what kind of habitat preferences, is the snake den in urban areas and the rural areas are the same, what are the ecological factors which are contributing towards the activity of snakes. A lot of such information can be gathered from the data which we collect. As I told you, people can send us photographs for knowledge, and so that's a simple example. Like this is our dashboard. This is 21/7, so that is last July's data. So people send us photographs. So this is the last photograph. I'm clicking 21/7/2005, and when I on that photograph, I get a larger photograph. I know that it is not a venomous snake, it's a non-venomous snake. So I can tell the person that, okay, you don't have to worry, it's a non-venomous snake which you send the photograph. You don't have to worry about the snake. So that kind of information. In case of an emergency, a person who will report a sighting of the snake, like this is a photograph where the person is reporting that there is a snake inside the house. So this photograph is uploaded. So we know that the snake is hiding in a small tile. The situation is there. If the person is out the name of the snake, he is putting spectacled cobra, but that is not always correct. Our rescuer will go there and check whether it is cobra or not. And then the person who reported it, what is the situation? Situation is outside a residential building, and description is written in Malayalam, but the situation is written in English. So you know where the snake is, what kind of a situation it is, and who reported, the phone number, and the GPS location. So this is actually helping one of our volunteer rescuer to reach out to this place immediately. You don't have to ask for the direction. You don't have to get directions over phone. You just start your Google map and you will reach there. So that is how we get data. We are also able to look after, we are able to check our rescuers, that how many snakes they rescued. So for example, if when I look at one particular rescuer, how many snakes he rescued, which area he is working. So here I'm looking at the rescue of Joju city in 1 month. So how many areas he rescued. This is also going to give you a lot of interesting information, that what part of the city there are more calls coming in. The northern part of the city may not be having that many calls, southern part may not be having that many calls. So when you overlay this data on a map, you start getting a lot of interesting information. Sometimes we know that a particular area has large presence of cobras, or some area has large presence of Russell's viper. So that kind of information also is available when you overlay this data on a map like this. And also, as I told you, both private hospitals and the government hospital mapped in the system, all hospitals are check verified. So that is what again I'm telling. The mobile application is just a tool. So when we started the whole process, we approached hospitals, and not only as a snake rescue team or the team SERPA, but the health ministry of the state checked hospitals and ensured that the hospital which are equipped with anti-venom and treatment facilities are listed in the mobile application. So that way, we know that if somebody use our mobile application and go to a hospital, there is treatment available. And this is on a regular basis or even a random basis. Our volunteers and forest department staff are checking this.
Is it possible you could wrap up now?
Yes, I'm almost. Yeah, so you can reach this hospital directly using the mobile application. Also, these are the kind of built-in training material within the system. And we are actually planning the next version of the mobile application with some more features which we will be adding into the system. What we are planning is the SERPA version 2.0, which will be launched in 2020. Now, also we do a lot of workshops in schools, regular interactions, structured training programs. So that is another thing. There is a set of volunteers who does it. And finally, what we achieved is this, that when we started in 2019-20, if you look at it, prior to 1920, the number of human snakebite death, the human death due to snake bites were very high. And from the beginning of SERPA in 2020, we're actually seeing a gradual decrease in the number of human death happening in the state. So that is where we feel that, or we really understand that there is something good happened with SERPA, and the state is actually moving towards zero snakebite death, and that's becoming an initiative across the state with a partnership from government and other agencies. Let's not forget the power of media. We always had a lot of good support from media. They ensured that the app is propagated, app is known to people. And also this kind of activities like unsafe stunts and all these things are in the state. And it's a collective effort. Finally, that's what I would like to say. It's a collective effort of government, conservation organization, health department, researchers, and technology companies, and a large number of volunteers across the state. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was very, very exciting, very evidence-based work, and technology for development really coming into force. Really very exciting. So now we take some response from and some technical inputs from Dr. Harshjeet, followed by a little more sort of social approach to understanding the problem. So Manjeet will come in. So over to you, Doctor.
Yeah, so what I'll try to do is share my screen once, the snap. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. We can hear you very well.
Yeah. So yeah, we started with very nicely. The Peeyush has discussed about the evidence of community approach and awareness, and then Jose has Jose, you remember that at the same time we started and that's the time when
Actually, your voice is going up and down. Is it only for me or anyone
okay
else
now?
is facing the same problem?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, now it's clear.
Now it's clear.
Yeah, so 2017-18, a lot of things have happened during that time, and then onwards, both national, state, and global level things have changed. So we talk about a little bit of epidemiology. All of you, आप सभी को पता है कि क्या status है उसमें. फिर spectrum जो है उसके बारे में भी हम लोग थोड़ा बात कर चुके हैं. Spectrum of both, और अभी जो recently and last 5-6 years में जो policies में changes आए हैं उसके बारे में. And then the clinical management. I'll touch upon approach, first aid. Most of these things have already been discussed other ways, but there are a lot of audience we have, so सबके लिए. And then challenges and management approach. Um, yeah. So, you can see that there's large numbers, and we all know it. There are large numbers in the Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, and we have more than 4 lakh deaths happening all around the world. So, and in India also, it has been significant problems, though the data has always been underestimation and
Harshdeep,
underreporting, and
Harshdeep,
definitely,
may I
yeah,
suggest that you close your video? Maybe then we'll
okay,
have better sort of reception.
okay, just a minute. Is it better now?
Looks like for time being.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in India also, there's a large number of deaths and a lot of disabilities. The data always been very underreported. And even in this recent data, you see the most of data is coming from the south because the reporting issues in the north, and these are the things. And epidemiology also, though snake bite is predominantly a rural disease and occupational disease, which affects people from marginalized communities because they share common habitat. Then there are issues with the poverty and the healthcare access and sanitations, and children particularly get affected more because they have small body size, and generally it's a disease which affects the voiceless communities of the society, जो समुदाय जो जिनकी अपनी आवाज नहीं है उनको ज्यादा अफेक्ट होता है ये। अभी के कुछ डाटा जो आ रहे हैं उसमें थोड़े चेंजेस हैं। इसमें चेंजेस इस तरह से कि कुछ शहरी इलाकों में, और शायद कुछ क्लाइमेट चेंज का इफेक्ट है कि शहरी इलाकों में भी कुछ रिपोर्टिंग हो रही है जिसमें स्नेक बाइट्स वगैरह आ रहे हैं। अगर हम लोग अपने इसमें वी सी द डाटा फ्रॉम द हेल्थ सिस्टम, सो दो इट्स नॉट ए एब्सोल्यूट रियलिस्टिक डाटा, लेकिन वी सी दैट देयर आर more reporting of snake bite cases, and but by the time they reach to the tertiary care or the district hospital, deaths also have increased in that proportion. So snake bite animation accidents, they are accidents, the conflict which happens when they come across each other. It is a negative tropical disease. There are a lot of aspects of the medical, surgical, the venomics, how the venom works, issues with the socio-economic condition and healthcare access, the ecology, how the ecological factors, including climate change, affects the human behavior of habitation as the snake behavior of habitation as well. So this is a very broad, it covers a significant broad area, which almost everybody get affected. So globally, in around 2019, World Health Organization has made a commitment to this problem, and they have put this strategy where there are 4 domains of it, which is the one to establish some kind of safe and effective treatment, which not only hospital level, even to improve the antivenom production, its quality of antivenom, and then empowering and engaging the communities. Then very strong emphasis on the health system, how the system works in coordinate with the different um, levels of support and care. So, and they have set up, we are almost at the mid of this because the ultimate goal is to reduce the disability and deaths to half by 2020. And these are various modalities are put how to bring about these changes in each domain. So for just like for antivenom, this antivenom which we use in India is polyvalent antivenom, which is established more than 100 years back, and it's slightly modified, but not really too much yet. But it's still this is the most effective drug available for us. And to how to improve its quality. There are various manufacturers at the moment, and how to develop some other modality or other kind of drug which can effect say come with the same effect or even better effect. Then community, with as we discussed about how to get the community involved. their awareness, their healthcare access behavior, and to provide them the care which they need. And health system itself, from the education, training, the skill level, how these things can be improved, and then again the policy level where all this come together and implemented with coordination between different agents. So in India, last year and with the development of last few years, this NAPSA, which is National Action Plan for Prevention and Control of Snake Bite and Venom, has developed, and that's with the same goal and same kind of objective which WHO has established. So as we all know that there are not all snake species are venomous. There are only these four which are responsible for most of the main part of India. They are responsible. The northeast and the southern part, some other parts, and very hilly northern part has a different group of snakes. So these are the one who are responsible in India. Almost 90% of 90 or 70 to 90% of snake bites. And what does it cause? So snake bite disease is a multi-system disorder. The venom goes to blood first, and then it goes to various body organs and cause multi-system disorders and damages, which is sometimes become irreversible if not taken care properly, and it's multi-organ disease as such. Clinical management starts right from the first aid, then how to transfer to the hospital, then rapid assessment and resuscitation, and how to manage the clinical aspect of history findings, what exactly is the status of the patient, and then investigations to find what is the blood parameters, and then appropriate decision to be made whether antivenom is needed, not needed, or the quantity of antivenom, and then for the observation of the response. Then this cycle goes further of making decisions, and then support of the wound, the local part which is affected, and the late effect of this snake bite can be very debilitating, and then how to rehabilitate, and then any later problems which arises. Sometimes it's renal failure, sometimes some limb issues, and a lot of other issues can come across. So the first aid, I think that is there are two things in snake bite which will definitely is most important and the most effective. One is the prevention, and the second is the first aid. And actually, first aid means nothing. You have to make sure that we don't do something which is harmful. So you have to reach to the suitable hospital where antivenom is available, and to reach to that hospital, we have to make sure that patient is reassured that okay, this a bite has happened, so we have to be calm, and it may or may not be the venomous bite, and to see whether that limb is not moved, or that part of bitten part is not moved, is get immobilized, and to the doctor when you reach there, we explain that this is what happened, this was the possibility of envenomation. And above all, definitely, if the lot of other things which need not be done, we'll just discuss that in later. So what not to do is definitely there are a lot of stuff which is in practice years after years. People have just in community level has made this to be like a probable potential treatment for this thing, and most of them are harmful. Any incisions, trying to take out the wound, which our movie shows, still in our movies, they show such kind of behavior, and tying bands, tourniquet, applying some kind of chemical, electric shock, so many other things. And particularly damaging in this situation is this tourniquet. The tourniquet, finding tourniquet is very dangerous. It can cause ischemia, means kind of blood loss, means not the limb is not getting blood, and if it is kept for too long, it can damage the limb for permanent, and it's extremely painful. It causes toxin to stay in that place for a long time, which can cause more damage, and it can cause death if it's suddenly removed after after reaching to hospital, or prior to starting antivenom. So there are a great deal of research in this that tourniquet should not be applied. There are certain way of applying tourniquet, not tourniquet, but kind of wrapping things. So one thing is better not to use that, because most of the people will not be aware how to use a loose wrapping of the limb. So it's better to just immobilize like it is a fractured arm, this as is shown in the image. And obviously, you should not try to find and kill the snake. It can lead to another bite, and dead snakes also can give a venomous bite. This is the community first aid, the same things which I discussed, how to make the person reach without reach hospital without whatever means you have, but with the safe way. And in the hospital, the general approach, which is prevalent, is to have an syndromic approach, because we have these four venomous snakes, and they have little different presentation to each other, and it can be when the patient reaches to hospital, initially is not very sure whether there's a venomous bite or not. So based on that, either the observation are known, and as the symptoms come, if it is viper bite, you will have a local swelling, blistering. There can be rapid involvement of the limb swelling. And in southern India, you'll have some neurotoxic, mild neurotoxic effect also, where, and same with the cobra and krait, there can be neuroparalytic kind of symptom when, and all symptoms of diplopia, ptosis, and kind of paralysis. And again, soil scale and vasculotoxic snake otherwise will have renal injuries, hematuria, means bleeding in the urine, and sometimes myotoxic in the coastal areas you see. So if there are any of the effect of those, then antivenom is needed. In krait specifically, there may not be any obvious local effect, but the neuroparalytic symptoms will be there. So those things will need extra attention. And sometimes those symptoms are very unusual, like abdominal pain or vomiting, which mimic so many other conditions like appendicitis or so many other things, but it could be snake bite as well. So importance of history and proper examination is very important. So this is the same syndromic approach, that how a healthcare personnel, mainly doctors, can look about the symptoms and decide whether the patient is what is the prognosis. Though our mainstay is antivenom, which is polyvalent, but these things help us to see what comes next, what is coming next, whether he'll have coagulation issues, or he have renal problems, or he have neurological issues. Antivenom is the mainstay. And then why there are two kinds of antivenom preparations available actually, one in serum form and one is lyophilized form. And the difference is mainly they store, how long you can store. The lyophilized form, which is the freeze-dried form, you can store for long compared to the liquid form or the serum form. And the lyophilized forms needs more, the liquid form needs more refrigeration and cold chain. So indications, mainly as we discussed, if we have any systemic symptoms of venom, definitely it needs. And sometimes if there's no symptom in the systemic way, but then absolutely very gross symptom in the local. I'm a surgeon, so I prefer that. Okay, that what to do with the wound. So look at the wound. What is need? Does it need any further treatment other than antivenom? Antivenom is the mainstay anyway. So depending on what kind of snake is bitten, how the patient size and age, what is sensitivity, location, we assess the wound, and the wound, whether it's progressing to further damage or not, we kind of manage it accordingly. And there are late effects which needs further release. Sometimes we need skin grafting, sometimes we need scar release to make the people go back to their normal life. So there are a lot of challenges in each level. I have put something before the first aid also, which is human snake conflict. We are discussing it, and we'll discuss further. From there to first aid, to the access to the healthcare. Then in the hospital itself, there are a lot of issues. The quality of antivenom, the presence and absence, and the stock of antivenom. Then whatever support you get, support of whether that have multi-specialty centers or not. and then till the rehabilitation, and then the whole cycle again for any other patient. So challenges definitely community level awareness, knowledge, harmful practices, prevention issues, healthcare access issues, poverty, and health system level. There's no curriculum which tells you that okay, the snake bite is that essential. We have got that volume of problems, so we need to teach it in the medical college from right away, or even the in the peripheral hospitals also. So those training and skills established protocol, we need to see that all over the India, everybody follows same protocol, and then policy level, as Jose discussed about the data, then unified policy among states, various departments, interdepartment coordination. So these are the challenges. Though the good thing is the last few years with WHO and national level also, some established guidelines have come, and I'll ask who is interested, and if any doctors and healthcare workers, they should go through there are literature available to the NCDC to for the healthcare, every level of healthcare workers, and for especially for doctors, we have this management of snake bite, which is updated up to 2019, and this um, for this preventive measures, the references, and the snakes has always has been making us change something. The theory that snake has caused us to develop our brain and our vision the way it is now, and we have to try to bring that change and hope that change happens, and we have to keep working on those change in various whatever capacity we have, whether it's rescue, whether it is awareness. uh, uh, I had a project with medical students where we went and discussed the survivors. We found out the survivors and discussed their experience, and then we documented that how is the journey, and gave a feedback to our system that this is the journey which takes any snake survivor. And those stories were quite moving for the medical students, and many of them will carry it for their life. So yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. That was, I think we're getting into a very holistic session. So we had program experience from Peeyush. Now Ashjit has brought us the treatment side of things, and also in between we saw the technology and evidence generation, and also real-time sort of data analysis and support. Great. Now to wrap it up, I think it's never complete without a social angle to the whole problem. So we have Manjeet to reflect on that. Manjeet?
Yeah, thank you, Sautaji. Harsh, I will share my screen, so you have to start. Yes.
Yeah.
So I am sharing my screen. Is it visible? दिख रहा है क्या?
Yeah, the black.
It's coming up, it seems.
Yes. Now?
Yes.
Sorry. सो मुझे जो सभी को नमस्कार। बहुत सारी टेक्निकल बातें हुई, बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग एक्सपर्ट्स हैं जो देश भर में जाने जाते हैं। मैं थोड़ा छत्तीसगढ़ के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अपनी बात रखूंगी कि कैसे वो सोशल एंगल इसमें आ रहा है, तो और उसमें भी हमारा इकोलॉजिकल जो एस्पेक्ट्स है, मुझे जो जिम्मेदारी मिली है, द बिहेवियरल एस्पेक्ट्स है सोसाइटी का खासकर। तो मैं अभी चेंज किया, मैंने दिख रहा है क्या? तो सोशल एंगल है, तो हम नेचर से बात करते हैं। सांप जो है, स्नेक है, एक नेचर का एक कंपोनेंट है कि इम्पोर्टेंट कंपोनेंट है। हावेवर ये इम्पोर्टेंट कितना है, इसको लेकर जब भी बात होती है तो एक फियर क्रिएट होता है। और सबसे मोस्टली इस नेचर पे डिपेंडेंट कौन लोग हैं? जैसे जैसे हम अर्बनाइज हो रहे हैं, हमारा नेचर से डिपेंडेंसी बहुत अलग लेवल पे जा रहा है। तो नेचर पे डिपेंडेंट अगर देखेंगे, जो फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस पे काम करते हैं, फॉरेस्ट में आते जाते हैं, जिनके घर नेचुरल मटेरियल से बने होते हैं, या जो एग्रीकल्चर पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं। दूसरी तरफ आप देखेंगे कि हेल्थ ऑफ नेचर को डिस्टर्ब कौन कर रहा है? तो बहुत ज्यादा जो कंस्ट्रक्शंस हो रहे हैं, बहुत ज्यादा डेवलपमेंट सो कॉल्ड हो रहे हैं, वो इसको डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं। एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल बताऊंगी कि आपके आसपास में ग्रासलैंड को भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो वो ग्रासलैंड
बल्कि
इतनी ब्यूटीफुली दिखती है जिसमें
बल्कि
सारी
एक
चीजें दिखती हैं।
एक दो ब्लैक बॉक्सेस स्क्रीन पे नजर आ रहे हैं, वो क्या है?
नहीं,
अ,
ब्लैक बॉक्स तो कुछ किया नहीं है, जस्ट अभी दिख रहा है क्या?
नहीं, मुझे लग रहा है या तो दोबारा शेयर कर रहे
ब्लैक
हैं।
बॉक्स है यहाँ पे राइट हैंड साइड में।
और मे बी आप भी अपनी वीडियो थोड़ी बंद करके देखिएगा, शायद उसमें कुछ बैंडविड्थ की प्रॉब्लम है।
अभी दिख
अभी
रहा है?
ठीक है, अभी ठीक है।
तो ये जो नेचर है, ये आप देखेंगे कि नेचर का ये डिस्टरबेंस है। और उसके बाद ये ग्रासलैंड का एग्जांपल है, इसमें बर्ड्स की आपको दिख रही है, ग्रासलैंड है, बहुत सुंदर सा है। यहाँ एक कंस्ट्रक्शन हो जाता है, कंस्ट्रक्शन शुरू होता है, और ये जो जगह है ग्रासलैंड किसी कॉलोनी के बगल में है। अब आप देखिए क्या होता है। आप देख सकते हैं कि वहां पे जो स्नैक डिपेंडेंट थे, जिनका पूरा एक इकोसिस्टम में जो डिपेंडेंसी थी कि वो उनका फूड था, प्रिडेटर्स था, वो एक साइकिल थी, उनका फूड चेन था, वो डिस्टर्ब हुआ, वहां पे मिट्टी खोदी गई और वो घरों में आने लग गए। और हमने कहा देखिए आप, इंटरेक्शन कहाँ हो रहा है। ये सभी कोबरा के फोटो हैं, और ये फोटोग्राफ्स किसी ऐसे बड़े अपार्टमेंट या बड़े बैंगलो में नहीं है, ये किसी छोटे से घर में है जो मिट्टी के हैं या आसपास बने हैं, सड़कों में बने हैं। आप ये देख सकती है नाइट, ये सारे फोटोग्राफ्स नाइट के हैं। और ये रात को फोटोग्राफ्स में वो क्या दिख रहे हैं, कोबरा टॉयलेट के लिए तो गया ही नहीं होगा, या ऊपर ये जो दिख रहा है रेड स्नेक या ट्रिंकेट दिख रहा है, ये सारे लोग गए क्यों हैं? तो सभी को, आप सभी को मालूम है, जब भी ये सवाल पूछते हैं तो या तो उनका फूड होगा, हम रेट के पीछे गए हैं, या कोई प्रॉपर उनका फूड को फॉलो करते हुए ये कंडीशंस में मिलते हैं। और इनकी साइज बहुत बड़ी होती है, तो इनकी डेथ्स के न्यूज आते हैं, अचानक से आता है कि डेथ हो गई। तो आप देखेंगे अर्बन गार्डन में तो कोई डेथ की खबर नहीं आ रही है, किसी घर के लॉन में डेथ की खबर नहीं आ रही, लेकिन इनसाइड हाउसेस भी, अर्बन हाउसेस में भी डेथ की खबर नहीं आ रही। खबर आ कहाँ पे रही है? जहाँ कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन चल रहा है और कोई रूरल साइड से आया हुआ कोई लेबर फैमिली जो है वहां पे काम कर रहा है। फार्म हाउस, फॉर्म्स हैं, कोई खेती की जगह है, कोई घर के पीछे का हिस्सा है जहाँ रात में उनको टॉयलेट जाना होता है, कोई कच्चा हाउस है जहाँ पे लोग जमीन पे सो रहे हैं, या ऐसा गांव जो चारों तरफ से नदियों से घिरा है, बारिश का मौसम है। ये वो जगह है जहाँ पे डेथ्स के केसेस आ रहे हैं। अगर प्रॉपर इसको एनालिसिस किया जाए तो वो इस तरह के लोकेशंस में है। कारण क्या है, बाइट के बाद होता क्या है, क्यों डेथ हो रही है? तो कारण यह है कि स्नेक बाइट हुआ है कि नहीं, यही नहीं मालूम है। कौन सा सांप था ये नहीं मालूम है। ट्रीटमेंट कहाँ होगा ये नहीं मालूम, जो पहले के हमारे लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा उसका सोल्यूशन दिया है। ट्रीटमेंट का मेथड भी नहीं मालूम है। एक सिस्टम भी नहीं हमने फेथ का कि आप जा सकते हैं, इसलिए लोकल जो भी होता है हमारा वैद्य होता है उसके पास हम जाते हैं। ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नहीं है, नदी क्रॉस करनी है, बारिश का मौसम है, हम जा नहीं सकते। कोई कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है, मोबाइल में हम इंफॉर्म नहीं कर सकते। छत्तीसगढ़, बिहार, झारखंड, उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश के बहुत से हिस्से हैं जहाँ अभी भी कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है। कुछ और भी अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं है, गाइडलाइंस भी प्रॉपरली पहुंची नहीं है जिन जगहों में ये घटनाएं हो रही हैं। तो सोचा गया मेरे हिस्से में, आई एम नॉट एक्सपर्ट, तो मुझे लगा इस पे कर क्या सकते हैं। हर्षजीत को एक्सपर्ट के रूप में देखा है मैंने, बाकियों को भी। तो सोचा क्यों ना फियर टू क्यूरियोसिटी में बदला जाए। पहले इस पे काम किया जाए कि जो मिथ और फैक्ट है सोशली वो क्या है और इसको कैसे बदले। तो जनरली जो स्टेटमेंट्स हमारे पास आते हैं वो ऐसा है, हमारे घर में बहुत जहरीला सांप घुस गया है, पता नहीं है कौन सा सांप है, ये शो करता है, हम खतरे में हैं, घर में सांप है, सुबह से घर से बाहर है, सांप है घर में, घोड़ा करैत निकला है, सांप दौड़ा रहा है, दौड़ा सकता है, हम मर जाएंगे, और जाने ऐसे क्या क्या है। लेकिन ये फियर बताता है, और ये कॉल्स हमें बताते हैं कि क्या पर्सपेक्टिव है कि स्नेक को लेकर, जो सब बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है इकोलॉजी में, बहुत एक एक अच्छा रोल प्ले करता है। तो ध्यान जाता है कि आखिर है क्या सांप, क्या ये सांप है, क्या ये सांप है, या ये सांप है। तो आप देखेंगे जब हम सांप की बात आते हैं तो सांप होता क्या है। तो जो फियर क्यों क्रिएट हुआ है, ये जब समझने की कोशिश की है तो समझ आया कि सांप का जो कैरेक्टर है वो इतना डिफरेंट है अदर उससे कि लोग सांप से डरते हैं। तो हमने इस पे फोकस किया। क्यों आपको डर लगता है? क्योंकि लिम्बलेस बॉडी, वो पैर से नहीं चलता है, और अगर वो रेंग रहा है तो वो जमीन में रेंग रहा है, वो पानी में नहीं तैर रहा है। उसका जीभ जो है वो सिंपल सी नहीं है, बाइफर्केटेड है, जो हमारे दिमाग में बैठ जाती है। एक्सटर्नल ईयर नहीं है, स्केल्स हैं उसके, जमीन में चलने वाले के स्केल्स नहीं होते हैं। और ये जो चीजें हैं वो बताती हैं, वो उसको पूरे बाकी जानवरों से अलग करती हैं। और यहीं से शुरू होता है कि सांप वो अलग है, वो इसलिए वो हमने उसको डरावना बना दिया, उस ब्यूटी को देखना नहीं सिखाया। सिंपल रेड स्नेक है, इसको बोलते बहुत बड़ा सांप है, आ जाइए, बहुत खतरनाक होगा। बेचारे रेड स्नेक का बिहेवियर को हमने कभी नहीं सोचा कि यार ये सुंदर भी हो सकता है, ये ब्यूटीफुल हो सकता है, सीधा हो सकता है। हमको बोलना पड़ता है गाय की तरह, एक सीधा साधा सांप है ये। आप पहले भी बताया जोश जी ने कि ये क्या डिफरेंस है करैत और वुल्फ में। बेचारा वुल्फ भी मारा जाता है करैत के कारण, करैत को भी नहीं मारा जाना चाहिए। बट ये इतना तो हम इस तरह से भी देखते हैं कि आप क्लोजली देखना तो सीखो। पाइथन और सैंड बोआ, पता नहीं कितने रिपोर्टेड सैंड बोआ के पाइथन के रूप में, पाइथन का बच्चा आया है हमारे घर में। चेकर्ड कीलबैक है और रेसर है, इसको भी लोग डिफ्रेंशिएट नहीं कर पाते हैं। इस सबको पहला जो फर्स्ट जो एंगल है कि सोसाइटी में सांप को एस्टेब्लिश करना। भाई सांप, चिड़िया देखते हो, छिपकली देखते हो, काकरोच देखते हो, आप ऐसे ही सांप को देखना सीखिए। इसलिए भी देखना सीखिए क्योंकि वो एक रोडेंट कंट्रोल का एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा हो सकता है। अगर वो खत्म हो जाएंगे, जो थोड़े बहुत सांप है वो अगर आपको काटेंगे, बाइट करेंगे, तो उसका वेनम ही नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि वेनम भी उन्हीं से मिल रहा है। इकोलॉजिकली वो कहाँ है। और बहुत सारे ऐसा रोल है जो आपको लगेगा कि आप दवाइयों से वो कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, वो चीजें नहीं मैनेज, लेकिन सांप को सिर्फ समझ जाओगे, उसके प्रति थोड़ा प्रेम जगा लोगे, आप उसको देखना सीख जाओगे, उसके बिहेवियर को समझ जाओगे, तो आप बहुत बेहतर कर सकते हैं। तो बहुत शॉर्टली मैं क्लोज करती हूँ कि हम जहाँ बिहेवियरल एस्पेक्ट में काम कर रहे हैं, हर हर फोरम में जहाँ ये सब्जेक्ट नहीं होता है, वहां भी एनीवे हम क्लोज तो करते हैं सांप के सब्जेक्ट से। चेंज ऐसे करते करते पूरे छत्तीसगढ़ में बहुत कॉमन सी बात होगी, हाँ यार सांप आया है, कोई ना कोई रेस्क्यू करने आ जाएगा। तो पर्सपेक्टिव को चेंज करना, ये एक बड़ा सोसाइटी के पर्सपेक्टिव को, जो मिथ है बहुत सारे, बहुत फिल्मों ने जो मिथ बना के रखा है, जो हमारे बीच बहुत सारे मिथ बने हुए हैं कि सांप बदला लेता है, सांप ही, तो बार बार हर फोरम में बात करना, तो पर्सपेक्टिव को चेंज करना, क्यूरियोसिटी को क्रिएट करना। दूसरा है अवेयरनेस और इन्फॉर्मेशन। बहुत अच्छा मुझे प्रवीण जी का गेम लगा, मैंने तुरंत ही अभी ऑर्डर किया कि वो अवेयरनेस बहुत जरूरी। इन्फॉर्मेशन, जितनी ज्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन जाएगी उतना अवेयरनेस बढ़ेगी, जितना अवेयरनेस बढ़ेगी उतना ये पूरा जो कोएग्जिस्टेंस है वो इम्प्रूव होगा। और तीसरा है कि काम रहना, सांप का आ जाना किसी सिचुएशन में, उसमें हम नॉर्मल बिहेव करके एक्ट में कैसे आए। जैसे काटने पे हम ये बताएं, हमेशा कॉल आता है सांप काट दिया, क्या करना है, उधर भी घबराहट है, अगर हम भी घबराएंगे तो गड़बड़ होगा। तो कैसे एक्ट करेंगे, एक्ट करना है तो हमें जानकारी होनी चाहिए कि फर्स्ट एड क्या नहीं करना है, कौन से हॉस्पिटल में जाना है, तो बी अवेयर। तो ये हम बिल्कुल एक्सपर्ट रेस्क्यूअर नहीं है, हम सोसाइटी को कोएग्जिस्टेंस के साथ सिखाते हैं। और आज पता नहीं 100, 150, 200, 500 करीब वॉलंटियर्स होंगे जो छत्तीसगढ़ में इस सब्जेक्ट को लेकर आगे धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है। दिस इज माई शॉर्ट डिस्कशन, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Manjeet. And I think we still have about 5 to 6 minutes for interaction with the experts. So if there are any questions, I saw that there were few questions in the chat. Is it possible to bring those questions up?
Yes, sir. Somebody had asked about accessing the materials from the website when Joe sir was presenting.
Jose, do you?
Yeah. So I can
Okay.
answer that. You can download the mobile application Serpent or Serpa, and you have a corner in the mobile application for education material, so you can download it. And also, if anybody need any kind of education material directly, also I'm just sharing my email ID, so you can just send an email to me. Many of you are working in the field. 1 second. So we have a centralized repository of education material. So I'll give you a Google Drive link, which will be kept on updated. In the mobile application also, it is a link to that folder only. So it will be kept updated. So you can download the presentations, posters, videos, etc. on snakes.
Excellent. Anjan? Please open your mic and ask question.
Very good afternoon to all the participants. Very nice presentation, all the speakers. Sir, we are working in the remote village in the West Bengal, district North 24 Parganas, and the subdivision is Bushirat. And we are providing training to the young enthusiasts for rescuing the snakes. Would you kindly help us to give the materials, the snake catcher, tongs, etc.? Is it possible for your part?
अंजन जी, आप मुझे एक ईमेल कर दीजिए। मैंने मेरा ईमेल आईडी शेयर किया है। मेरा जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वाइल्ड लाइफ ट्रस्ट ऑफ इंडिया, वहाँ यहाँ पर हमारा कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स है, उसमें यदि आपको मैं सपोर्ट कर सकता हूँ उसके थ्रू सपोर्ट करेंगे। आप मुझे एक अपने मेल आईडी से एक मेल कर दीजिए तो कर लेंगे।
Excellent, excellent.
मेल आईडी है
जी,
joes@indiansnakes.org।
उसमें आप मेल भेज दीजिए, फिर मैं मेरा WTA का ऑफिशियल आईडी से आपके साथ, मेरा जो टीम है यहाँ पर, उनके साथ कनेक्ट कराऊंगा। उसका एक फॉर्मल प्रोसीजर होता है, आपको उसको एप्लीकेशन वगैरह है वो आप फिल कर दीजिए, फिर उन लोग उसको इवैल्यूएट करके आपको बता देंगे। जैसे अभी पीयूष जी ने जो प्रेजेंटेशन दिया था, पीयूष सर का भी हमने तो उनका जब प्रोजेक्ट का जरूरत पड़ा था, उन्होंने मेरे टीम से बात किया था, उनको सपोर्ट मिला था। उस तरीके से जहां पर हो सकता है मैं सपोर्ट उपलब्ध करने के लिए कोशिश करूंगा।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
बढ़िया है, बहुत बढ़िया।
सरजीत, मैं जोड़ना चाहता था कि जो स्नेक गेम है वो आज के तारीख में एक वेबसाइट है, उसका लिंक भी मैं प्रोवाइड कर सकता हूँ, उस पर अवेलेबल है खरीदने के लिए। मगर जैसे अंजन जी वेस्ट बंगाल में काम कर रहे हैं, तो हमारे पास आज के तारीख में बांग्ला में गेम नहीं है, और जो स्नेक स्पीसीज हैं वो रीजन के हिसाब से भी बदलते हैं। तो अगर अंजन जी या यहाँ पे और भी जो लोग हैं, मंजीत जी हैं, और कितने इतने सारे लोग हैं, अगर आप चाहते हैं कि हम उस ज्योग्राफी और उस लैंग्वेज वर्जन गेम बनाएं, तो वील बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू वर्क। क्योंकि जब तक कोई होस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नहीं होता है उस रीजन में, उस लैंग्वेज का या उन स्पीसीज का गेम बनाने में खास मतलब नहीं है। तो
राइट,
मैं भी मेरा ईमेल एड्रेस डाल रहा हूँ,
हाँ
आप
आप
प्लीज
डाल दो
कॉन्टैक्ट कीजिए।
ईमेल एड्रेस। सो संचिता, दिस नीड्स कोऑर्डिनेशन, है ना? सो सो बेसिकली संचिता, इफ इफ यू कैन कोऑर्डिनेट दिस कि कौन सी रीजन के लिए हमें बनाना जरूरी है, और फिर वो पीयूष को इन्फॉर्म कर दो। और दोनों तरफ से कोऑर्डिनेशन करनी पड़ेगी। आप जैसे अंजन से कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हो कि भाई कौन सी लैंग्वेज, और उनके पास भी बहुत सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन होगी। 100% आई एम श्योर कि अंजन के पास भी काफ़ी इन्फॉर्मेशन होगी लोकल स्नेक्स के बारे में। तो आई थिंक इट इज़ नॉट ओनली अबाउट क्रिएटिंग अ गेम, बट इट इज़ ऑल्सो अबाउट collaboration between different actors, no? ठीक है। और so please, Sanchita, start a sort of applies a little bit of programmatic approach to solving the problem and scaling it up, basically. Huh? Yeah.
Yes, sir, we can coordinate for that.
Yeah. Any more questions or any more reflections from four of you, Peeyush and Jose and Dr. Saab and Manjeet?
सरजीत, सॉरी,
नो नो,
जोस कमन।
पीयूष गो अहेड।
या मैं सिर्फ इतना जोड़ना चाह रहा था कि जोस ने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से हेल्थ और फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट का जो रोल है वो बताया। इसके अलावा काफी सारे स्टेट्स में डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट डिपार्टमेंट जो है वो भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है।
राइट।
और इसकी पूरी हमारी पास अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी नहीं है कि कौन से स्टेट में क्या रेगुलेशंस हैं, क्या रिलीफ मेजर्स मिलते हैं, क्या कॉम्पनसेशन है। तो अगर हम इस पे भी थोड़ा काम कर सकें, तो ये जो टाई अप है कंसर्न डिपार्टमेंट से, ये थोड़ा और कंप्लीट होगा। ये एक मेरा पॉइंट था। थैंक यू।
Well
पीयूष,
noted.
नापसे का जो डॉक्यूमेंट मैंने शेयर किया है, they have compiled lot of those stuff, and still NCDC, as far as I know, because I'm by practice I'm a surgeon, so the toxicology in my hospital and in Delhi also, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, they try to compile lot of this information. So that one document I shared, this इसमें chat में NCDC का, सॉरी द NAPSE का, सो उस एक्शन प्लान में इन सभी इश्यूज को डील किया है, और उसको उसका प्रेजेंट स्टेटस बताया हुआ है। मेनली कंपनसेशंस इन ईच states and a lot of other information which is compiled in that actually. And it's some draft which is in development. So I think their updated versions also will come.
Somehow ये chat ठीक से नहीं दिख रहा है, but anyway I trust कि chat सबको अच्छे से दिख रहा होगा.
Yeah, I just want to add a comment. A short comment is that it's about 20 years me working with snakes and snake bites, or rescuing snakes and working with the various state forests. And in last 5 years, definitely there's a lot of interest coming in from various quarters, whether it is from government agencies, CSR agencies. A lot of interest is coming in, reducing the snake bite. Finally, I think India, we understood that we don't want this crown, that the capital of snake bite death across the world. We don't want this. So there is a lot of effort. The only challenge what I feel is that because I interacted with too many forest departments, too many states, because and one thing I'm understanding is that unless and until we have a very good synergy in various line departments, government departments, and the players, it will be isolated success. Like you may have one hospital and a surrounding area which will be successful, but then not across the state. So what I really request this kind of platforms is that look at one particular region. Maybe it is a state, maybe it's a district, and then we should create replicable models which can work, and a lot of regional participation, ground level participation. That's my final point. If I'm not working in Chhattisgarh for a very long time, then I should find people, partners, or people who can implement from Chhattisgarh and implement it. Otherwise, the overheads, the managing a project, interactions, all these things will slowly fade away. So you need to build your local grassroots level response mechanism, whether it is a hospital, whether it is a rescuer, whether it is an educator. So that is very important, because then only we can reach out to far corners. Like somebody previously commented that he's working in an area in South Parganas. If I want to deliver the education material there, then I should have a mechanism and I should have a team there. So we should be looking at that kind of regional implementation in association with various departments. So that should be a big strategy in this. That's all. This is my learning, and I wanted to share that with people. That's all.
Thanks, Jose. I think that's a very sort of sober sort of reality that we in this country. I think we still are working not only in snakebite but in every other sort of issue in a very piecemeal approach, and it's not really a universal approach to handling things in crisis. But I think the good starting point would be what Peeyush suggested, that we also understand the rest of the ecosystem, which we still haven't understood. One is about the compensations. Snake bite during floods and disasters is my question. I also wanted to ask one question. Is it something which is well understood, or do we need to sort of further sort of investigate into this whole problem? Jose, maybe you can answer this question.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, we dealt with the two major flood situations in Kerala in 2018 and in 2022. Flood and disaster situation. Flood situations, when people go back to their houses, there is a higher chance of you finding snakes, because when flood happened, people moved out of the house, and house is the tallest place in that area. Definitely there is a chance for snakes coming and settling in houses. We removed a large number of snakes from houses. So when people go back into their houses, they have to be very, very, very careful after a flood condition. Snakes can be hiding in the house. They find it is more secure. Not only snakes, you find a lot of small animals taken refuge in houses, especially old houses where they can hide. So that's always possible. And there are standard operational procedures when you go back, reoccupy a house after flood situations. So that's there. And also during flood situations, transportation of patients to hospitals become a bit of a challenge. So anybody who is working in disaster areas, we ensure that in Kerala, my home state, and a couple of other states, disaster NDRF teams are equipped with dealing with snakebite emergencies. They have antivenom, they have proper first aid, etc. with them, and that's a concern, yes, of course, but not in landslide times. Landslide times, I don't think.
Yeah.
Not in that.
So, Jules, with respect to your apps, are you sort of super confident that all the hospitals where support is available are there on your app?
Let me understand that question. In Kerala, where we have made the
Kerala, no, the
no, not across the country. No, not at all.
No.
I got about 3,000 hospitals listed in the mobile applications at various point of time. We have done random sampling, called up hospitals and checked, yes, but over a period of time, they must have stopped providing snakebite support. So that's a big challenge that, so that is why I said that, you need constant support from other line departments. So when you have a state working with you very closely, state forest department and state health department working with you very closely, you will be able to do that. So in Kerala, what we have done is that we are working with volunteers in each area. So randomly, they will keep on checking with the hospitals whether there is snakebite, anti-snake venom is available. The DMOs are asked to ensure that their taluk level hospitals do have anti-venom. And then as it is a state program, the state forest department does surprise checks, like, range officer or a forester will go to a hospital and check whether they have got anti-venom. So there are checks and balances ensured. So, and good news is that political will, now the chief minister's office just taken it because they must have felt that this is a good thing to do for the people. So it's something which will give you some publicity and some acceptability. So because of that, there is more emphasis on government hospitals talking anti-venom and providing good healthcare support. In any other state, if I want to do it, I will ensure that there is a checking mechanism.
And final question, if we were to replicate SARPA in other states, like to the kind of quality you have achieved in Kerala, are you guys incubating that kind of sort of things in other states? And then if yes, what does it take? I mean, how much money, how much staff, how much?
So we recently, the technology development, I'll take 2 minutes here. Technology, maintaining the technology and ensuring that things are updated and things are monitored is the big cost in this business. I don't call it as a business, but in this situation. So we have a commitment from a CSR donor for supporting the technology. So I'm very happy that we can make the technology free of cost available across the country in the coming years. So because if I make it technology for Kerala, if I replicate it all across the country, the overall cost will not be, replicating per state. The actual cost is the state machinery adopting it and implementing it. So that is that depends on the size of the state. So for example, I looked at a state like Rajasthan, and the initial year cost will be about 25 to 30 lakhs to begin with, if you do workshops, if you do training programs, etc. So that is what a state like Rajasthan will cost. And then the next years, it will come down because you will not be doing that many workshops. So I looked at the overall cost that, even if a state will say that, okay, I'll put about 50 lakh rupees to prepare my machinery or prepare people or a public partnership program. They don't have to go to the technology cost, because I never want to put the technology cost on the state, but the implementation cost, conducting workshops, conducting orientation programs, ensuring that there are volunteers around. All this will cost you a bit of money. I'll go back to the state Kerala. Now this is the 5th year running this project in the state. It never costed more than 10 lakh rupees per year in the state in reality, because the volunteering was very good there. So it depends on the set of people. Like I got 1,200, 1,300 active volunteers across the state who are from various walks of life. I have people who are daily laborers.
Which other state, if I may interrupt you, which other state you're seeing some success emerging?
We have some success emerging with Tamil Nadu. They are interested in doing it, and the basic framework within the state forest department is done. They are starting the project. The preparations are almost completed. They technically announced the SARPA program a few weeks back, so they're getting geared up for that. Odisha has initiated it, but they hit into a small roadblock because of a administrative issue. But these two states are ready. Rajasthan is discussing. but not yet ready because they have to find a resource allocation for this kind of a thing. So that's another thing. It's very unfortunate. I'm very, I get a little disheartened when I see that states spend a lot of money on other things. Can't you find 30-40 lakhs to look,
Yes.
save lives? And I have witnessed the snake bite costs also. A simple hospital in Chhattisgarh, in Pithora, a missionary hospital, a not for profit hospital, it treating snakebite patients less than 5,000 rupees a patient, because they just use antivenom and two shots of atropine or adrenal. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have seen that kind of treatment also. Very basic things, because they don't have anything else. They have a basic ventilator and a MBBS doctor and a little bit of antivenom, and they treat, and the success is very high. So it is not about that you need a super specialty hospitals and huge infrastructure to treat snakebite patients.
If I may ask you one more question, are you linked to anyway the Kerala State Disaster Management Authority? And
Not. I mean, the Kerala State Forest Department has a nodal officer. They are working with the Disaster Management Authority. They are working with the Health Department. So it's taken over by the State Forest Department as their project. So I don't need to worry about all that. They coordinate everything. They have a nodal officer.
Because the forest is always a remote sort of, in the whole sort of governance system.
Yeah, but
forest remains quite remote. But disaster management authorities are now coming into their own. We know them. So can we promote the Kerala model of SARPA and the way forest department is doing through our contacts? And our contacts are with the disaster management system. Will you be open to sort of such a collaboration?
See, I am 100%, because we developed this with a simple aim that this technology, this model should help people. I mean, whether if it is forest department who's taking the lead, it is great. If it is disaster management authority which is taking the lead, it is great. I have no aversion. I'm always open to collaboration, and this is kind of a voluntary thing which I do personally, and there is no restrictions, no limitations. I'm working with Peeyush for a very long time. So, what drives us is it's not even a funded project for us. It is just an idea. So sometimes I tell people that, SARPA is not a funded project by anybody. SARPA is just a passion. SARPA is something which we just put it together. I mean, everybody gave some idea. My developers are charging a very fraction of what they should be charging for developing something. So once you have a good team and a good vision, then what you need is a machinery to take care of the rest. So disaster management authority, absolutely fine. So we developed it.
We have lots of Peeyush, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that in the case of Odisha, it was the then CEO OSDMA who took the lead and who had the convening power to bring in the forest department, the health department. So, like Joe said, it's actually finding a champion and then, using our networks and our social political capital to get things moving. Thanks.
Great. So, Sanchita, I think you must have recorded everything. And I also have now collected a lot of information. I'm a typical consultant, no? So collecting a lot of information. Now I know what to do with it. So I think we have some ideas. So we'll bring scale. So we have to drive scale. We have excellence now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think Anjan has his hand raised for some time. I'm not sure whether.
Anjan, do you still want to ask any question, or is it
Yes,
only
sir. I have one kind submission that in UP the compensation is 4 lakhs, in West Bengal that is 2 lakhs. Is it possible for raise a volume from Spare India to level this compensation money in a nice manner so that the family can survive in the absence of that victims? Can we raise this point to Government of India from Spare India, please, sir?
Yeah, that's what I think Peeyush was asking, that we still do not know whether there is compensation available for snakebite deaths from disaster management side. So I think I'm certainly not aware. If anyone is aware, please raise your hand and answer. But thanks, Anjan, for bringing it up. We will find that out and we'll respond to you. There is a message from Kavya Sharma. Kavya, would you like to open your mic and speak? Okay, most probably we are right at the end of the, we have crossed the timeline, I think, by 20 minutes or so. So thank you so much for this great session. And I think this is a really what we truly call generative dialogue. It's not an end in itself, but we're going to generate a lot of work out of it. So I'm hopeful that Peeyush and Louis and Harshjeet and Manjeet, I think we can again get together, not maybe in a webinar or a seminar, but to plan something real, some real action. Yeah. So I think that's Sphere India can also coordinate and help us sort of do a little better. Thank you so much. Have a great
Thank
evening.
you very much.
Have a good evening.
Thanks everybody. Thanks,
Thank you,
Sphere.
everyone.
Thanks, UNICEF.
And thank you, Peeyush, for inviting me for this. I mean, you are the driving force.
Oh. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you, speakers, and thank you, Sarabjit sir, also for very graciously moderating the session. It's not going to end here. We are going to take things forward. Thank you, participants, for your time and participation, and a very interactive session as well. We'll join together for another session. Thank you.
Bye.